Carter.
Through CAPS, through the psychiatrists here, it got to the point where even when I'm at my worst, I have the coping techniques that I can use.
She says before CAPS, she didn't realize how bad her depression was.
I just looked in a mirror at one point and I genuinely had no clue who was staring back.
Brooke and Victor say CAPS helped them to see they're not alone.
Nowadays, I think everybody knows, there are a lot of people struggling with mental health issues.
And that it's okay to reach out for help. In Orlando, Olivia Parsons, UCF Nightly News.
Right now, Victor and Josh's mom are working to put yellow benches on school campuses everywhere. Victor says those benches will be a safe zone and a place for people suffering to find help.
It's National LGBTQ History Month, and UCF is celebrating in a big way. Throughout the month of October, the UCF
Coming up on UCF Nightly News, find out how UCF researchers found a new way to detect dopamine levels.
And see how UCF's emergency management program prepares students for real-world issues.
And discover how UCF alumni are expressing themselves through drag.
In sports, we'll take a look back at the men's basketball team's historic season.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Erin Harris.
I'm Abisala Adeyemo. Today is Friday, March 29th, 2019.
The Florida Board of Governors confirmed the appointment of long-term interim President Thad Seymour Jr. This means Seymour will stay in his position until a permanent president is found. Chairman Robert Garvey says they hope to start the president search in the fall and confirm a new president in early 2020.
A summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report says President Donald Trump did not conspire with Russia to influence the 2016 presidential election. However, it says Mueller's investigation is not sufficient enough to determine if Trump obstructed justice. Although the summary is out to the public, the full report is not. Democrats gave Attorney General William Barr until next week to release the full report.
Last month, multiple UCF professors were nationally recognized for inventing a new piece of technology that can detect dopamine levels. Nightly News reporter Brianna Sorensen has more on how this new finding can help people with multiple different types of medical issues.
UCF professors and scientists have found a new fast and easy way to identify dopamine levels within a person's body. The study's principal investigator, Dr. Debashis Chanda, says that different levels of dopamine can affect a person in many ways.
Like people can suffer from Parkinson, various brain cancers, and also dopamine fluctuation related with many mental disorders like depression, your mood swing, your happiness.
The project took 3 years in order to complete a dopamine detector that reacts instantaneously. This machine right here separates the blood from the plasma to be able to detect just how much dopamine is within that plasma.
So you drop your blood, is on the chip itself separate the plasma, and light reads that thing is quite instantaneous. Like within a minute, you can actually get the reading.
The detector is so user-friendly that researcher and engineering professor Sudipta says that one day patients will be able to check their dopamine levels from their own home.
Probably at some point, the whole idea will be to see how your body is behaving, and you can get the indication on your watch. You don't have to go to the medical professionals. Really? So I see that as a lot of future in this direction.
Both Chanda and Seal hope that this device will be able to help many patients in the future. Reporting in Orlando, Brianna Sorensen, UCF Nightly News.
Researchers plan to make a more general prototype of the dopamine detector over the next few years. Once the general prototype is made, researchers can start sending out the device nationwide.
UCF students are putting on their dancing shoes this weekend. Students from dozens of organizations are raising money for UCF's largest philanthropy event of the year. Nighthon is a 20-hour dance marathon hosted in the CFE Arena. Students raise money for Children's Miracle Network, a nonprofit organization that treats various pediatric health issues. UCF student Kelly Mitchell is eager to raise money for a powerful cause.
Wound up raising over $2,000. Fantastic feeling, because it all goes to the kids. I get to go do hospital visits. I get to go kind of see everything hands-on.
UCF is hoping to raise more than its record-setting $1.5 million raised last year. Nighthon takes place in the CFE Arena tomorrow at 2 p.m. and runs until 10 a.m. Sunday morning.
UCF's new Masters in Emergency and Crisis Management ranked number 7 in the nation for the best graduate programs. Nightly News found out how this program is teaching students how to handle the crises we see today.
Maureen McCann works as a TV meteorologist. She's also a UCF grad student getting her master's in emergency and crisis management. She decided to pursue a master's degree to help her better communicate the weather with viewers.
Forecast information is so critical amongst decision makers in our community who are making those decisions to keep our community safe. So it's a good way to kind of bridge both of those disciplines, being it meteorology and emergency management, with this program.
The National Center for Environmental Information found that climate change plays a role in the increase of natural disasters globally. In 2018 alone, over 20 mass shootings occurred in the U.S. Learning how to handle any crisis situation, such as natural disasters and mass shootings, is a major aspect of the master's program. Director of the Emergency and Crisis Management Program, Claire Knox, says all crises are dealt with using the same set of skills.
Leadership, ethics, core competencies, managing a budget, managing people, all that is incorporated into the curriculum.
Here at UCF's Emergency Operations Center, they use a special technology that's an entire map of campus. So for instance, if there's a wildfire on campus, they could simply circle it and share that information with first responders.
McCann says learning doesn't end with an undergraduate degree or in your career field. She says she continues to learn new things every day. In Orlando, Abisala Adeyemo, UCF Nightly News.
The master's program started in fall 2018. While the undergraduate program is offered in person, the graduate degree is only offered online.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, each day, 9 people are killed and more than 1,000 are injured in crashes involving a distracted driver. Using cell phones while driving is considered the most dangerous. Nightly News reporter Shania Richburg has more on why using a cell phone while driving is so common.
They just say like, oh, I never got in an accident while on my phone, so I don't, like, it's not a big deal.
This seems to be the thought process of some students when it comes to distracted driving. Sophomore Victoria Santalin's sister was involved in an accident at the fault of a distracted driver.
Though texting and driving may be one of the more common distractions, video recording while driving can put your safety at risk and the safety of others.
Santalin says she refrains from using her cell phone while driving, but she sees her friends video record while driving quite often.
I have friends that post on their story like listening to music and just being really reckless about it, and it just kind of annoys me, honestly, but I mean, as long it kind of is like a danger to everyone else, so it's definitely not my favorite thing that people do, but I mean, I can't do anything about it. They got to learn the hard way, I guess.
Dr. Peter Hancock is a research professor in the Department of Psychology and Institute for Simulation and Training. He says people are more inclined to use cell phones behind the wheel because driving does not take up all of your attention.
In the driving task, because it's only it's only taking so much of people's attention, they tend to want to use the rest of that attention, the spare capacity, on other things. And that's what we call distracting elements, because you're not paying appropriate attention to the roadway in front of you.
Dr. Hancock says distracted driving has always been an issue. He says to combat this issue, our technology will need to adjust to our human capacity. In Orlando, Shania Richburg, UCF Nightly News.
So Knights, as you head out, make sure you avoid any and all cell phone use, whether texting, video recording, and even GPS use.
You know, Abisola, it was pretty chilly when we came in this morning. I really hope the weather warms up like it did yesterday.
Yes, it was. Nick, can you tell us how the weather is going to be like today?
Thanks, Aaron and Abisola. It's looking like a beautiful day today. We've got a high of 73 degrees with a 51% chance in the humidity.
We've got winds coming from the northeast at about 10 miles per hour and a 0% chance of rain. So leave those umbrellas at home. Now back to the desk with Abisola and Aaron.
Coming up next, have you ever wanted to play Quidditch like Harry Potter? Find out why some students are heading to Texas to capture the magic and the golden snitch.
Plus, a look inside Orlando's drag scene and what it's doing to become more inclusive.
To experience the magical world of Harry Potter, some students are making the magic right here on campus. Nightly News reporter Tanisha Breidenbach tells us how a group of students are capturing the magic and a possible championship.
Donning cleats, black and gold jerseys, or red pennies, the Nearly Headless Knights hold regular practices to stay on top of their game. However, this team is not your regular club sports team.
Between the theater building and the music building is an open space. However, with PVC pipes, volleyballs, and a little bit of magic, the Quidditch team is hitting the field.
The UCF Quidditch team, also known as the Nearly Headless Knights, formed in 2012. While the co-ed competitive sport is nationally recognized with over 150 teams and 4,000 players, the team at UCF tends to be overlooked.
Not many people that I've run into have heard of the actual sport.
Although the team is small and unknown, the Nearly Headless Knights have reached huge accomplishments. Playing in the U.S. Quidditch Cup 11, also known as Nationals, the UCF team won their first national game last year. Not to be slowed down, the team is heading back to Nationals to face off in the U.S. Quidditch Cup 12.
Last year, we only won 1 game out of 4. This year, we're hoping to make it to the second day, which means we'll at least win 2 games, maybe 3.
With some dedication, practice, and magic in their hearts, the team is heading to Nationals, proving their skills and perseverance are all they need to represent UCF.
Just like any sport, it deserves a lot of respect.
Reporting in Orlando, Tanisha Breidenbach, UCF Nightly News.
The Nearly Headless Knights are going to Quidditch Cup 12 in Round Rock, Texas, April 13th through 14th.
Drag has been a staple in the LGBTQ community for over 50 years. Nightly News reporter Rachel DeTico tells us how Orlando clubs are working to provide a more inclusive space for drag queens in Orlando and at UCF.
Drag is considered an important and honored art form in the LGBTQ community. And across Orlando, former and current UCF students are proving that it's for everyone. For years, RuPaul, the creator and host of RuPaul's Drag Race, has said that drag can only be done by gay, cisgender men. But local Orlando drag queen and former UCF student, Mr. Miss Adrian, says traditionally the practice didn't start out that way.
When it was the transgendered women doing drag that started this in the first place.
Another local queen, Venus Envy, says the main problem is that transgender and female drag queens don't get the attention they deserve.
I didn't really see other girls doing it. Like, there were other girls doing it, but they were few and far between, and they really weren't as popular or as publicized as male drag queens.
Venus also says she's happy she started doing drag in Orlando, where there's actually a great many opportunities for all types of queens. Now, drag shows are actually hosted at LGBTQ clubs all across Orlando. Clubs like Parliament House, Southern Nights, and even Pulse, when it was still operating, are all popular venues for starting drag queens. UCF actually hosts 2 of its own drag events every year, where anyone, regardless of gender identity, is encouraged to come out and perform. In Orlando, Rachel DeChico, UCF Nightly News.
The money collected from the LGBTQ+ services at UCF's annual drag show goes to the Zebra Coalition, a nonprofit that helps homeless LGBTQ youth.
Coming up after the break, Nick will be back to tell us how the weather is looking for the next week.
Plus, allergy season is in full effect, and it seems like it's packing quite a punch.
Allergy season is in full force and is expected to get worse.
Sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
According to pollen.com, the pollen count in Orlando is at a high of 10.5 today and is expected to increase to 11.4 by this weekend. The top allergens are oak, bayberry, and juniper flowers. Doctors say climate change is leading to a longer pollination period. LaSalle St. Louis says she's been suffering from seasonal allergies all her life and is desperate for relief.
It's been very hard and terrible because sometimes I cannot breathe, and I have to live with all this dust and pollen everywhere. It's been going on for years, so it's really terrible.
Medicine can help, but doctors say there are tips to try at home. They recommend dusting ceiling fans, vacuuming, and keeping pets groomed.
This allergy season has been brutal with all the weather changing all the time.
I know, it's been really wearing me down. I hope the weather's going into the next week treats us better than the allergy season. What can you tell us, Nick?
Thank you, Aaron and Abazola. Let's look at the highs across Florida. In Tallahassee, we're looking at 81 degrees. In Jacksonville, we're looking at 76 degrees. In Tampa, we're looking at 80 degrees. In Orlando, we're also looking at 80 degrees, so it looks like it's going to be some nice weather. In Miami, it's also at 77 degrees down south. For our lows, in Tallahassee, it's 54 degrees, and in Jacksonville, it's 57 degrees. Tampa and Orlando are both at 61 degrees, and Miami at 69, so it's looking pretty nice if you're going out. Our 5-day forecast for Saturday, it's going to be very sunny, a high of 82 degrees and a low of 61 degrees with a 0% chance of rain. Also on Sunday, it's also sunny with 85 degrees as your high and 63 degrees as your low with another 0% chance of rain. So if you want to go out this weekend, it's definitely the right time. Monday, we're looking at a high of 78 degrees, partly cloudy, and 62, we're looking at a low of 62 degrees with a 50% chance of rain. Tuesday is also a high and partly cloudy with a low of 55 degrees and a 40% chance of rain. So you might want to pack your umbrellas if you're thinking of going out during Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we're back to sunny, beautiful sunny Florida with a high of 75 degrees and a low of 58 degrees with a 0% chance of rain. So midweek, put those umbrellas away. That's all the time we have for weather. Now back to the desk with Aaron and Abasola.
Coming up next in sports, the American Athletic Conference has a new media deal. We'll give you the details.
Plus, baseball is back at home. We'll get you ready for this series this weekend against the UConn Huskies.
Good afternoon, Knights fans. I'm Dylan Lyons. Let's see what's happening with UCF sports this week. The ending to the men's basketball season was heartbreaking for the Knights as they fell to #1 Duke. However, the team was able to accomplish a lot of first. Nightly News reporter Chris Wolf tells us plays and games that made this season so special.
The UCF men's basketball season is over after Aubrey Dawkins misses the potential game-winning basket in the round of 32 against the Duke Blue Devils. The season as a whole was still historic for the Knights. Head coach Johnny Dawkins was proud of his team, and he hopes the young players keep the legacy rolling even after his seniors leave.
And now we need to grow from that. We'll lose some, valuable players, guys that helped, do some things at UCF that hadn't been done before. And now we need the players that are returning to understand the importance of continuing that legacy that the seniors left behind.
The Knights had many first-time accomplishments during the course of this season. A school record 24 wins, their first ever top 10 road victory, the first ranked matchup ever at CFE Arena, and their first ever NCAA tournament win against VCU. Guard B.J. Taylor thought they represented UCF well.
But I think, we represented UCF, as best we could. And I think we did everything we could to win that game. It just came down to a couple plays.
Head coach Johnny Dawkins had a message for the team and the community.
Talked about how proud I am of my team and of our program. And I thought we represented, UCF and our community, great all year long.
In Columbia, South Carolina, Chris Wolf, UCF Nightly News.
The Knights finished this season 24-9. The team will look different next season because of the loss of 3 key players, B.J. Taylor, Taco Fall, and Chad Brown. Though there will be a host of new players coming in, so the team will look to keep the momentum going. After getting swept in their opening series, UCF baseball will look to bounce back this weekend against UConn. The pitching struggled last weekend, but rebounded with a shutout of North Florida on Wednesday. Tyler Osick and Dallas Beaver will look to stay hot after combining for 5 RBIs and 5 hits against UNF. UConn comes into the weekend tied for second in the American. The Huskies rank second in the conference in team ERA, while the Knights come in as one of the best hitting teams. The Knights will send Chris Williams and Grant Sherman to the mound for the first 2 games. They're still deciding on a starter for Sunday. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. tonight. Softball hits the road for its second conference series of the year this time. Traveling to ECU, the Knights are coming off a weekend sweep of UConn and are tied for the top spot in the AAC at 23-9. Pitcher Aaliyah White will look to give UCF another strong outing after being named the conference pitcher of the week. Meanwhile, the Pirates are coming off a series loss at Memphis last weekend. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. The AAC officially has a new media deal with ESPN. An extension was announced earlier this week that will run through 2032. The current deal was set to expire after next season. Under the new deal, 135 American sporting events will be broadcasted across ESPN's main set of channels. That includes at least 40 football games, 65 men's basketball games, and 13 women's basketball games. While that should result in teams in the conference like UCF receiving more money, the financial terms were not released. But both UCF AD Danny White and AAC Commissioner Mike Resco say they are happy with the deal. The playoff-bound Apollos also play this weekend. They'll travel to Memphis to take on the Express and new QB Johnny Manziel. These 2 teams last met in Week 3 with the Apollos coming away with the win. That was Orlando's second lowest scoring game of the season. Quarterback Garrett Gilbert had 207 yards in that one to go along with 2 total touchdowns. The 2 teams come into this game in different places. The Apollos are currently 6-1 and are atop the team in the AAF standings. Meanwhile, the Express, they sit at the bottom with a 2-5 record. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. tomorrow. That's all the time we have for UCF Sports. Back to Aaron and Abisola at the desk.
Guys, it's looking like a sunny, beautiful weekend. I think I'm going to take the family out for some ice cream and probably the park. What are you 2 up to?
So I'm going to a Nigerian wedding, so there's going to be really good food, some dancing, jollof rice. You know it's going to be a good time.
I think I'm going to go to the farmer's market down at Lake Eola. I want to get some sunshine and some honey. That's our time we have for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our YouTube or Instagram at UCF Nightly News.
And if you've got a story idea you want to know us about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@gmail.com. Thanks for watching and have a good day.